You wish you could look cooler riding your motorcycle? You wish you could make your motorcycle more dangerous to ride? Do you wish you could make your motorcycle harder to ride? Have you ever wanted to look like a bad boy chopper daddy? Well, boy, do I got the thing for you. We got the Lead Sled Jockey Shift kit hanging out right here. Let's install it. All right, what's up? Welcome back. I got the Lead Sled Jockey Shift kit. I've already put the actual shifter on my primary, but I just wanted to see how it looked. But yeah, so in the whole kit, you get the shifter, you get this doodad here, which holds your cable that you eventually have to cut. And you get this little doodad here that goes on the end of your cable so that way it doesn't slip out. So everything seems like a pretty cut and dry process for installation. Lead Sled actually has 2 videos out, one for the behind the leg jockey shift like I have here, and another for the like the tank shift shifter. But both kits come with the same piece and you have to cut your cable the same way. So whichever one you have, process is still the same for the cable at least. All right, so as I said before, I already have the shifter connected. There's only 3 bolts here that connect that to the primary, and you have this bracket here that holds the cable. It connects to 2 different bolts up here. Apparently you have to shift this linkage piece around as well, so let's do that. So if you're having any issues getting this guy off right here, I wouldn't recommend pulling and prying on it. You're just gonna damage stuff at that point. So spray it with some PV Blaster, take the bolt all the way out, and take a screwdriver or a little pry bar or whatever you have and hammer it just a little bit. Just tap it. Don't hammer it full force or anything, but just tap it in between there so you can spread that out just a little bit. You don't want to tap it all the way in or you're gonna damage the splines on this guy right here, but that should help you get it out. Okay, so we got the shifter on right here. Might need a little adjusting at some point, but right now it feels pretty good to me. So what's next is we gotta take this peg off, and we're gonna have to drill and tap a hole into this guy so that way the cable can go into it. Also, these are the holes right here for this bracket, so it sits kind of like that. And there's a close-up shot of where this guy goes here too. All right, so on Lead Sled's video, it said to measure 1.5 inches from the bottom of the casting, which is what we did here. That top mark is where I messed up, don't pay attention to that. That bottom one's correct. That's where we're gonna drill and tap our hole at. So in the video it said to use a 1/4-20 drill bit, but all I have is a 13/64. So looking it up, it seems like it will suffice. And I'll see if I can get my little Harbor Freight drill press here to do the job. Drilled my hole. I didn't go all the way through to the other side. They recommended not doing that in the Lead Sled video, and I think it just kind of looked cooler that way anyway. I have my tap here, and I'm about to tap the hole. So definitely not professional, but let's do it. All right, so I lied a little bit. Had a little bit of an issue, so I ended up having to drill all the way through, which is okay. My tap just didn't have enough on it to get the threads all the way down in the hole. So I ended up having to drill all the way through just to get enough threads in there, this little guy, to go as far as it needed to go. But with enough Loctite, it'll be okay. So just to show y'all what I just did, took the primary cover off. I undid the clutch cable from the inside of that, and then obviously undid it from my handlebars. But and then I took a pair of clippers. I don't know. Here it is. And I cut off the end that would go to the hand controls, so that way I can pull this guy out some and clip it where I need. Okay, so I brought you in a little closer to show you how to go about measuring this guy here. So I pulled my clutch cable almost all the way out of the sheathing. It was a 2-part sheathing, but I took that last part that goes right into the primary. So I'm gonna hold it up like it's screwed into the primary. I'm gonna do a little S bend in it. It's about right there, to measure how far into this bracket the sheathing needs to go. So I'm gonna hold it right there. It's about where that needs to go. And I'm gonna make sure my clutch cable is pulled out of that part of it, and I'm gonna cut it. We're cut, and now we can go ahead and push our cable the rest of the way through. Quick tip as well, if you didn't know, I'd recommend cutting everything like this with a grinder instead of any sort of like clippers or anything like that, or like these guys, just because if you cut them, for one, it's hard as hell. For two, if you cut them with that, it's just gonna fray the ends, and it's gonna be harder than hell to try to push this back through the sheathing or try to push this into this guy right here. Also, while you already have this disassembled, you might as well replace this tiny little O-ring that goes on the end right here of your clutch cable. It's cheap insurance. You already have it off. You might as well replace it anyway. I mean, go to Harbor Freight, buy one of these kits. You're going to use every single one of them at some point in your life, I promise. But yeah, cheap insurance, replace it while you can. I guarantee it's already leaking. Well, it wouldn't be choppers or motorcycles if there wasn't another issue that needs to be addressed while you're doing something else. Come to find out, my clutch cable, the part where the sheathing goes into the primary, the threads are completely gone on the primary side of it. So what I'm gonna do, which I don't recommend you do at all, is I'm just gonna go ahead and put a tap through it and see if I can get a little bit of threads on there, and that might work for now. What I should do is drain the primary, take this part of the case off, then tap it, and then put it back on, have fresh fluid and everything. But do as I say, not as I do. All right, so I have the sheathing here put back on. I have the clutch cable ran back through the primary here, and now I'm gonna put my clutch lever adjuster back on. So, all right, I got everything put together back in the primary here. Next up is actually cutting the clutch cable itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of just gonna hold it up, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of extra, so that way I can cut it back if I need to, or I can use this adjuster here. But you know, you can always take away, you can't give more, you know. So I'm gonna cut it a little bit longer than I think I might need, and then we'll go from there. That was easy. All right, now I'm just gonna back off these little Allens in here. So we are almost back together. A couple things of note though. I did go back in and drill and tap another hole into this lever right here, just because the clutch cable was kind of dragging on the inside of this bracket, and I didn't want it to fray or, you know, break anytime soon. So also adjusting the clutch adjustment right here. You want that straight head screwdriver bit that's inside there, you want to do it until it's just a tiny bit tight, and then back it off a quarter turn. With that as well, it's not righty tighty, lefty loosey. It's loosey tighty with that one. All right, so I'm gonna put the derby cover back on. We're gonna give it a test ride and see what it does. Just me. I like tools like this a lot, but I never like hammer down on anything, especially like this with this small of bolts. I always just kind of run them down, and then I just use a ratchet to tighten them. Big bad chopper daddy supreme now. All right, well, we're on. Test ride went awesome. It's a jockey shift, so it's gonna take me a little bit used to it, but it was rad. I feel like a big bad chopper daddy now. But yeah, see you in the next one.